This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1182, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
And just down the street there in Nashville, our managing editor, downtown, Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
We have a great show coming up. No Big Deal joins us. It's a big deal. No Big Deal is joining us.
Yeah, I wonder how
that joke has never been used ever. No one has ever thought of that one.
I was going to say, but when you decide as an artist to go in that direction, you have to be.
Well, his name is
prepared
Dylan, so Dill, D-Y-L. You know,
but even so, it's like you have to be prepared for a lot of who's on first situations that you're going to run into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, the old thing of a band calling themselves like free pizza tonight or whatever, just so that's all up on the marquee, you know? I feel like he's got to know he's setting people up for who's on first type of jokes here.
It's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I changed my name to Derek Miner, because I sound like an accountant. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't come up with any jokes with Derek Miner.
You just blew the mind of your fan base who thought your name was Derek Miner and did not know that it was a stage name.
No, I'm actually, Miner is junior, so I'm a junior. Actually, my dad was so mad when I changed my name to Derek Miner. He's like, "Who is Miner? Who is that?" Like he thought maybe I was like, this is about to get real like dark. But he thought maybe I was naming myself after my stepdad or something. I was like, no, Miner, junior.
Yeah, I'm honoring you.
Right, exactly. It's like it was a cool way of honoring you, but he was not having it at first. He was like, "Who is Miner?"
Wait, so is your name legally changed to Derek Miner?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's just your stage name.
No. But the checks still cash either way, baby. So
some of the checks go to his LLC, which is his stage name, and some of the checks go to his Christian name.
His government name, yeah.
His government name, yeah.
Yeah, well, but yours is passable for a real name. It was like when...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are probably shocked right now that he
right.
This
that's
is
not his
news.
name.
Oh, it's hilarious because they call my wife Miss Minor, and she just at this point she just accepts it. She's just like, yeah. She knows like that's kind of our thing, you know.
Well, whenever we're in Montana with Prop, who we all know as his stage name Propaganda, occasionally people will call him Jason. And it throws me every time because I've just never called him.
The alias phase of hip hop was crazy. I mean, we still have it with the Lils. I don't think the Little is going anywhere. Like
Young.
Lil Wayne and Young Jeezy set us on a course that's never going to go back.
What's funny is going to be when the Youngs hit their 40s. You know, and like or their 50s.
Well, yeah, because they just become Jeezy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's
he took the Young off and called us
that was
Jeezy.
like a big thing.
Bow Wow
set the precedence.
Yeah. He was like, I'm not Lil anymore.
Yep. Wayne is still Lil Wayne because he's actually a little individual.
Yeah, he's small.
He's
short
stature. Yeah.
Which I wonder, now thinking about the Drake and Kendrick beef, I wonder how Wayne actually felt about Drake calling Kendrick short. That might be why he was dancing to Not Like Us during the motto. He remixed the motto and did the Not Like Us lyrics. That probably was a shot at Drake for making fun of him for making fun of short people. You know what I'm saying?
You think so? You don't think their friendship like supersedes that? Like, I mean,
short people. Listen, man, Napoleon took over the whole world because he was short. Like, short people do not play, bro. Like, it's a thing, man. Like, they don't
play because they don't ever get picked for the team because they're so little.
This is so weird. You know what?
We are frying short people today.
I was going to say, we actually are. This is a pretty tall podcast. Like, no one knows that about us, but I'm the shortest one here, and I'm 5'8". So
Right.
Yeah. I've remained pretty quiet during this whole thing. I don't need that kind of heat. We don't need the Short King smoke here.
Exactly. We've ticked off Canada. We've ticked off the Amish. We don't need to have a small army coming after us.
I want all the smoke. I'll let y'all headbutt my kneecaps as much as y'all want.
And make sure y'all go to Mr. Minor. Do not come to me.
The question is, do you want to fight like a horse-sized chicken or like 1,000 chicken-sized horses? I don't want the chicken-sized horses. I don't need that short army coming after us. Your ankles will never recover. So, anyway.
Every hobbit that listens to the episode is just like, this is, I'm done.
Wow.
Jesse is offended on behalf of. Jesse is 6'2", offended for people.
Yeah, I'm staying out of this one. I was just gonna talk about nicknames for the intro.
Hey, the Shire. Look, you go look at the analytics on this episode, and you're just gonna see a fall off of everybody from the Shire.
Yeah, New Zealand listeners.
It's
4 minutes in. Just shut it off.
Sorry, Frodo. I apologize.
All right. Well, we actually have a unique show coming up. Normally, this episode we'd have Relevant Buzz. We don't. I'll tell you why when we get to that segment. We have something else planned. No Big Deal is coming up, obviously, and we have your feedback at the end. Stay tuned. Right now, up next, what are we calling it, Emily? 5 burning questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll explain after the break.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're listening to Chloe Slater. The song is Price on Fun. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, so right now, normally we have Relevant Buzz. So here's the deal. We're recording this on Wednesday. You're hearing it on Friday. This past weekend, obviously, there was a assassination attempt on President Trump. And, when we do Buzz, we're covering what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture. There's almost nothing happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week because the news cycle, understandably, is almost exclusively talking about this national situation that our country's in. So we don't have anything to bring you for Relevant Buzz. That's not true. We are covering stuff at the site. It's just not our normal beat. So we decided to mix things up for today's episode. We wanted to flip it. Instead of us telling you what's happening, I wanted to bring some questions here to the cast, ask you guys 5 burning questions. And we have some substantive ones. We have some lighter ones. So just stick with us. Don't be nervous.
I forget that Emily was trained by Tyler Huckabee. So it's like I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
No, it's nothing bad.
The qualifier burning really
They're hot.
Just because it's hot outside.
No. Okay, first of all, double entendre, triple entendre. We normally would do hot takes. We're not doing hot takes because I'm not giving you a statement. I'm asking you a question. So it's not a hot take. It's a burning question. 2, summer. It's broiling outside. So they're burning questions because they're summer focused. They're timely.
Still nervous,
So we'll see.
Relax your shoulders a little bit. It's going to be
we're
okay.
We'll see. My trust level is like, I've been burned by Emily and Tyler before in the past.
So we got 5 questions. I'm just going to open it up. So a range of topics. We're going to talk a little politics. We're going to talk a little church, a little entertainment, a little vacation. So we got
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Okay,
so we'll kick off with politics. We don't talk politics. You know? So we don't.
I will kick off with politics.
Hey, this is the reason why we're not doing Relevant Buzz is because of what's happening in the political space. Extreme partisanship, the vitriol, the
Did I miss
negativity.
something, by the way? I'm confused. What's going on?
So, it got us a lot of people talking about politics these last few days. And I, as a brand, we've not really delved into politics because there's a whole lot of things that Christians disagree on. I mean, frankly, and there's certain things that in our faith and our belief and our worldview, we want to hold with a closed fist. These are non-negotiables, but there's a whole lot of stuff that we need to hold with an open hand that are a little bit more negotiable, and politics would fall in that category for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to talk as a brand about policy and stuff like that. Let's zoom out and talk about bigger things. What did Jesus talk about? Let's talk about those things. Okay. So that's context. So the brand has never talked politics because as a brand, our values, we are pro-life. We are a pro-life organization, but not only womb, it's womb to tomb. And we care about life and human dignity as well. And when we talk about that, which is what we think Jesus was about, the poor, the least of these, the innocent, the vulnerable, as Christians, how does that play out in politics? Well, you have issues on both sides of the parties on both sides, the platforms that we agree with some of what they're standing for, and we disagree with some of what they're standing for. Like as a brand, as Relevant, we've always found ourselves in the middle and not able to fully align on one side or the other. So my question to you, the burning question is, what do you do with politics when you don't fully, because of your Christian beliefs, when you don't fully align with either party? What are we supposed to do?
Well,
control everybody.
Yeah. Disassociate. No, here's the challenge because I've thought about this a lot, because ultimately, no matter what you kind of think on an issue, you can have all the kind of nuance in the world and agree with some parts of one party's platforms and some parts of a different party's. Just the nature of our two-party system is you have to make a very binary choice, but I think the key is not being defined by a political part. When we think about the word identity politics, a lot of people identify as, with a party. I am a Republican. I am a Democrat, or I guess you could have people that identify with third parties, but generally, there's some personal identification with those parties. And I think that's where things get a little dicey, because when your identity gets wrapped into something, anything that is that challenges that is a personal, not necessarily attack, but it challenges you personally in a way that isn't, I don't think, ideologically constructive. And I think, just identifying as a Christian, before you identify, or not even having an identification other than for I guess voting in a primary or for, practical reasons, but not having your identity tied up into a political party, I think is really, really critical, because there is going to be no perfect policy and no perfect party that represents a collection of policies. I think you have to kind of vote with what you think will result in the most good. But I always like the idea of no matter who you're voting for, you should always hold your nose and vote, because it's I'm going to make the call knowing that this isn't a perfect solution and my personal identity isn't tied to it.
I think also so I've only voted in 2 elections, but they've been tough ones. And I haven't been like thrilled about either candidate, like, or any candidate that I've ever had to vote for. But at the end of the day, if I can like go to sleep and know like whether or not my candidate wins or loses, I'm okay with that choice. Like, I think that's something that I have to tell myself is like, I have to answer to like myself and God one day. Like, I can't vote for someone because someone else wants me to. I need to vote for who I think needs to be that person. And if that's a third party and someone thinks that I'm wasting my vote, but if that's what feels right to me, I think you have to be okay with that. And you have to be able to stand and like feel comfortable with that decision for the next 4 years. Like, even, I don't know, I think trying to not listen to what other people are telling you to do and what you have to do, and realizing that when you get into the voting booth, it's up to you.
I think the issue becomes when we try to proselytize people to our side and try to make it a moral issue as far as which way you vote. Cause I know what Jesse said earlier is when he's like to identify as a Christian first. And it's like, but then some people would say, if you identify as a Christian, you have to identify as this party. So I just think it's just being able to just say, you know what? I'm going to hold this with a more loose hand. So that's what I had to do over the past 4 or 5 years is begin to hold politics with a much more loose hand, because I can't really control even what the politicians do after we vote them in office. Like, you may vote a person in on one platform and they may not do anything that has to do with your platform.
Yeah, they made promises that they don't keep in office. Exactly.
Yeah. So then now you feel betrayed by your guy, right? And then you're mad and you want to tear something up. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's just really me focusing more. What God has really blessed me, what's worked for me lately to do is just to focus on what I can control. And I can't control that, what we have, but what I can control is how I treat people on a day-to-day basis and how I move within the system to better improve it.
Just to move on to something else, but like a thought I've had is like, okay, if I don't agree with either party fully, I need to zoom out and look at the person, the candidate. Like, is this a person who I feel speaks the truth as best they can, even if I disagree with some of their opinions? Is it somebody who treats others the way they would want to be treated? They believe in the golden rule. They are, a uniter, not a divider. I think about things like that. Like, even if I don't agree with some of your party's policies, do I feel like when push comes to shove, you're going to be self-serving, or do I feel like you're going to be thinking about the greater good? That to me is like, you have to kind of almost like remove party from who the person is, who the candidate is. Anyway.
Hey, real quick. Yeah, this is all great. Before we go, can I add one burning question to the mix?
Please.
Because I have one that is fire hot that I need some answers for. We don't have to do it right now, but before we close
you know
this
what?
out.
You need to do it right now, because I have a plan for the rest of them. So go ahead.
All right. I'm going to
do your insertion burning question.
I'm going to throw a curveball here. I came across a verse the other day in scripture reading. Cameron, do you have your phone on you? I'm going to get you to read the verse.
I do.
Okay. Pull up Mark 14, 51, 52. I came across this verse and I had to read it like 3 times, and I was baffled by it because I've never heard this addressed one time, and I have no explanation for it. If you were to read this to me days ago and say, I would be like, no, that's not included, that you made that up. Like, I have never heard this before. And everyone on here has been, has probably been to some degree reading or being taught scripture their whole life. I've never heard this, and I have no explanation for its inclusion. To set the stage, this is right after Jesus was arrested and was being brought before the Sanhedrin. So he'd just been arrested, and he's Cameron. What happened after his arrest? According to this verse?
To the point of Jesus being arrested, and the betrayer, Judas signals the one I kiss. It's that part. We all heard this story.
We all know that, and you guys seen The Chosen. I guarantee you, this was not included.
And then right after the I'm going to kiss him kind of thing, then Jesus said, "Am I leading a rebellion that you've come out with swords and clubs to capture me?" You know the scene. Okay. Verse 51. A young man. I mean, this is right after Jesus is getting arrested.
And I've never heard this one time until I stumbled on it the other day.
Yeah. The scriptures must be full. And then everyone deserted him and fled. 51. A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus. When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. next verse. Like, what in the
And
world?
they just
You're right.
pivot.
Like,
They just leave that meatball dangling. Right? Like, well, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let's back up before. I want to hear the Sanhedrin part. This is very critical. Who was this guy, and why did you choose to include him and not give us any more information?
there's all these disciples. There's all these disciples. There's all these.
This is my favorite part of the Gospels. Is like,
Back up, Mark. Back up. Hold on. I'm going to stop
Why
you
is
there.
Mark obsessed with this young man naked running away? Like,
Why
it
is
seems-
this dude? Why'd he start streaking, bro?
It certainly seems that this happened. It seems relevant to include because I guarantee you, if you were there that day, you were like, man, it was crazy. He got arrested. They're going to bring him before the Sanhedrin. But you're not going to believe this other part, man.
And then this random dude starts streaking.
30 years later, Mark is recalling that night and he's writing it all down, and God and the Holy Spirit's inspiring, giving him the words. And that one,
He's like, we got to include. Hey, you can't forget about that one guy.
hey, remember that one guy?
And
That was
why have
crazy.
And I've seen so many passion plays. Why is this guy not in there?
just in the background.
I'm telling you, have you guys ever heard this verse before?
I mean,
Never.
I've heard it in the sense of like I've read it, but I have never sat on it and paid
Yeah.
attention to it the way
I
that.
think I
Glossed
was a
over
little
that
more.
one. I ain't gonna lie.
I was a little more focused
Oh,
on
man.
what was happening to Jesus in the.
Yeah.
I know, but why was this
Everybody's
included?
running and deserting him, but yeah, it's like that one
Who's
little thing of
this
like
guy?
But
he
this is
dropped
my-
his robe
okay.
and ran.
This is my favorite part about the Gospels is like I love all the different details that each gospel writer brings in because that the other
Right.
ones don't. Like John's my favorite because I think it is so funny that he included that he was the fastest disciple because he was the first one to reach Jesus. And like all the other disciples are dead at this point, and so no one can even back him up. But he's like, I reached him first, just so you know.
so
Like,
fast.
Why is this? Like
so
I said,
fast.
this
It's
is a
so
critical
funny.
part of the whole passion narrative, right?
Yeah.
It's worthy of inclusion. Why isn't on? You ever hear that on like a Good Friday night service? And a young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus.
Why
When they
is it?
seized
Why is
him,
it
he fled
that
naked.
ever in the play? Why wasn't that in Passion of the Christ?
It's
all.
like, whoa, time out.
That's how it got
Who's
its R
telling me-
rating. The original
Yeah.
cut was an X.
You know what?
It is
Maybe
one.
Why
Mark
I
included
get that
it.
he ran away. I can understand he wanted to run away.
Yeah,
but
he's
why?
freaking out, screaming, flailing his hands. Help!
Check this
help.
out. Check this out. What if Mark and John was going back and forth with each other, and that was Mark's way of saying that's John.
That was John.
Got mad and ran, and John was like, "Oh, you the fastest, huh?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
you ain't telling everybody you was naked, did
Yeah.
you? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Maybe this is something that Mark saw and he included to be like, did y'all see this too? Like, if anyone else come back, he kind of like threw that in there of like, y'all remember this part?
Real
That's
talk.
funny.
It was included for a reason. And next time we have like a legit theologian on the show,
Yeah.
after the interview's closed, just be like, hey, listen, we got a burning question for you. Maybe you could shed a little light on this strange verse that it offers a little bit of a conundrum.
Well, and it's not strange, like, did it happen or not? It's strange. Why, of all the commotion things that were happening in that moment, is that the one that made the Holy Scriptures? That's, yeah.
well, not
that's
only
interesting.
that, why did it happen? Like, who was this guy? Did no one address it? Be like, hey, bro, you should probably put some clothes on. We're gonna, don't. You're making it worse. Okay, this is not a good look for his
For
followers
Jesus.
right now.
Yeah. You're making us look bad, dude.
I do like
All
the
right.
idea of having a theologian on and we actually just ask questions that are about
Weird-
like
weird verses.
Yeah, we'll do that one
In
day.
NT Wright, yeah, we have some burning questions for NT Wright. Let's go.
Well,
Let's
thank
do
you for
it.
letting me address that. It's been bothering me lately, so thank you.
All right,
Hey,
well,
I can see why.
I have one more semi-serious question. It's not semi-serious, serious question, but then we'll get to some lighter stuff. So here we go. Talking scripture. I want to talk church. So obviously we've seen a lot of brokenness in the church leadership. Carl Lentz was on our podcast last month. Obviously we've been talking about Robert Morris and the continuing situation there. And it seems like, I mean, go back to Ravi Zacharias, go back to like name. It seems like there's like continually like stories of brokenness in the church. Anyway, I am a positive person. I'm a glass half full person. I'm a future person. I'm like, okay, if this is where we are, where are we going? That's where my mind goes. What's the solution here? Okay. So I don't want to ask you about your thoughts about scandals or why so many pastors fall. That's not what I'm asking. But in the light of so many negative things being told about the church, I want to know your perspective on what's good about the church. What's something you've seen in recent seasons of the church, maybe last decade, last few years, that you've seen shifting in a positive way then what excites you about what God's doing in the church and through the church today?
I think there are a lot of things that I think are really good, but the one that comes to mind is I think the conversation around mental health has changed a lot for like the positive. One, just that we're talking about it, and that we're not talking about it as if it's like a spiritual oppression, but it is something that we do need therapists for, and we can use medicine for. And like, I don't know, I just think it's a really, there's a positive conversation happening. I think there's still a ways to go in some churches, like just from what I've heard, but I've seen a lot of really positive changes. And so that makes me excited.
You nailed it. That's huge. Such a shift. Cause like when I was growing up, you grew up in the Baptist church. Y'all didn't talk about nothing but hell. I grew up in the charismatic church, and if like depression,
that's a demon.
Sickness did not exist. If you were struggling with something, that's either a demon or you didn't have enough faith. And you got to pray your way through it. And it was like very much dismissed as far as like mental health and things like that go. Therapy, no. That shows spiritual weakness if you need therapy. That was the narrative. And I think probably caused a lot of harm. I am agreeing with you fully that the openness and the transparency that is in the church now and is growing in the church about it's spiritual and chemical or generational or, you know, whatever, like it's a multi-pronged thing, not just spiritual. I think that is such a positive shift. That's a great one to highlight.
Yeah. I think what I like is the curiosity among younger believers and younger people in spiritual things. Like it seems as though even if the church, like, you know, statistically has been losing ground in certain areas, what I've seen just in culture in general is people are asking spiritual questions, which they're just not assuming that they know. And that opens the door, obviously, for a lot of people to say a lot of things that are untrue. But it also opens the door for people that are saying things that are true to be able to impact people as well. So I see that as a great opportunity for me. I mean, as I look at it, I'm like, man, these kids are prime. They want to know, they want to know more about God. They want to understand spirituality. And that gives the church a prime opportunity to step up. If we could step up with character and then step up with some answers, or even if the answer is, I don't have an answer, but hey, let's work it out together.
Love it.
Yeah, I like being able to have permission to be spiritually curious about Mark 14:51 and who this,
Amen,
who this
brother.
young streaker was.
All right.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead. I thought that was your way of like, I'm trying to lighten the mood. Okay.
No, it was. I would say that my last point is, because thinking about it, and I know this is something, you know, everyone on this show is kind of been somewhat on the forefront of at least in their adult lives. But I feel like a lot of the cultural silos have broken down significantly, where there's no longer like just the Christian versions of, you know, kind of pop culture expression, where I feel like there's a lot of Christians and churches and just, you know, people of different worldviews willing to interact with culture that might not be in a perfect alignment with their worldview. And I feel like that works both ways too. I feel like there are artists who are Christian and who, you know, the faith is part of their art that is also kind of crossing boundaries, and those silos that used to be pretty thick walled, I feel like have in some places completely kind of collapsed, but in a lot of places those walls have gotten really thin. And I think that's a good thing, where it's not two separate cultures, where they've been able to, you know, they seem to interact, those worlds seem to interact way more and way more comfortably.
Yeah. I just put a pin on it. I think something I've observed, and we'll move on to the next one, is I feel like the obsession of the 2010s around celebrity pastors, hype, style, whatever, I feel like that bubble has burst, and that is not the desired focal point of young hip churches anymore. They're not trying to be the coolest church. I feel like we're trying to reset to the things of God, and let's worship and let's pray and let's impact our cities. And it's not about hype and cool and all that. I feel like obviously we've got a ways to go, but I feel like we are trending in the right direction in that way. Anyway. All right. Next one. Summer. A lot of downtime for a lot of people. School's out, got time to kill. What are your favorite summer binge shows, movies? What's your go-to? What do you do? What are you watching right now? What are you into right now? Just summer 2024. What are you intaking?
I got a couple. So I'm watching, and please don't crucify me, although I don't think relevant.
A lot of anime.
Yeah.
But no. That's a given. That's year round. That's not summer.
Okay,
That's
got
year
it.
round.
Okay.
So we're watching House of Dragon right now. And that show is ridiculous.
Too many boobs for me. Can't do it.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but another show. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest it for your Christian ears, but I'm also not gonna lie either. But yeah, House of Dragon. We watching that every week. And then, man, there's this show on Netflix called Supercell.
Oh, you liking it? I've seen it in the top 10. I haven't watched it.
It's pretty cool. It's a superhero show about some people that get superpowers and they're trying to figure it out. It's not high budget, but the story is pretty interesting. It's one of those ones where I was like, dang, I wish I would have thought of this. Like it's right there in your face. So I don't want to spoil it.
I've seen the tile. Cool. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse,
I've been watching one recently. It's not like, so it was originally, the backstory of the show, then I'll kind of talk about it. It was originally funded by like Facebook video, or when Facebook was getting into like the pivot to video, they funded some actual shows from TV creators. That contract has come up. So all the episodes in like the last 2 months have been put on YouTube where you can binge it. And they're kind of out of, and they actually, Roku is actually funding, it just released a movie based on this series, which you can now, it's kind of getting a second life because it's been all uploaded to YouTube and you can binge it. And it's called The Real Bros of Simi Valley. And it's a parody. It is a parody of like Bravo shows, right? And so it follows it follows 4 dudes who are about 10 years out of high school and are just floundering, living at home, and they are just bros. And the manufactured drama, and it's shot just like a Bravo show. So like handheld cameras, like tight zoom ins of like real emotional responses. But the central tension of each of them is in like a relationship, and there's lots of drama, but the drama is over things like one of the guy has a soul patch that his fiance hates, but she's so passive aggressive that she refuses to tell him to shave it. And so like they'll have like cutaways of confessionals, and she's like, he looks like Apollo Ono. I can't kiss Apollo Ono, but what am I supposed to do? I can't say it directly to him. So I just have to give him the silent treatment and hope that he understands. It's the soul patch. And there's like a 7-episode arc that is just about passive aggressive tension over a soul patch. Like every piece of drama is not real. Like it's so stupid and so dumb, but it is a pitch perfect parody of Bravo. Set in like the most absurd world. Emily, I assume you've seen the show.
Yeah, I've seen the show. Well, did you watch the movie that just came out?
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Okay,
I'm
the movie's
very funny. Movie about this?
So the movie just came out this like maybe a couple weeks ago. The show was out a couple years ago because a lot of those guys actually started off on like Vine and YouTube, and like some of them are still YouTube. Some of them are like actual actors now, but that's kind of how they got started. They just made these dumb bro videos, but they made a movie that I won't give it away, but the overall plot is that it's their 10-year reunion is coming up. Yeah. And it's great.
I've been catching up on the series now that's on YouTube. Like I said, I think they put it up on YouTube like 2 months ago. So I've been burning through it and in preparation, but I'm going to wait till I finish to watch the movie. But that's what I've been watching this summer.
I think the movie's on like Tubi or something like that. Yeah. It's like some...
Whatever it is, channel. I'll end up subscribing when I wrap up the series in the next couple of days.
That's really funny.
Anyway, yeah.
But it is
I got to
great.
check that out because I watch a lot of Bravo shows. I've been watching, like I have like King of Queens on for some reason. Like I've been watching like King of Queens.
Okay.
And then I'm watching like really heavy documentaries. Like everything for, well, not just all heavy, but like Wrexham, documentary shows, those, whatever. I'm watching those. And I'm watching ones like on Hulu. There's one called The Perfect Wife, which was... whoa. And like I'm just like all these like crime documentaries and stuff. I don't know why I'm in that mood right now. But there's 2 dramas. Like I just rewatched Your Honor, which is huge on Netflix right now. I watched that originally on Showtime, but that's amazing. I just finished that. And there's another crime one on Apple TV Plus with Jake Gyllenhaal, forgetting its name, Presumed Innocent. That's fantastic as well. That's active. So
like law procedurals.
if you want heavy stuff like conspiracies and law, that's what I'm into for some reason. And King of Queens. All right, Emily, what are you watching?
I've been in a really big reality TV kick this summer, mostly because this season
Love Island
USA is probably one of the best seasons that they've ever had. Definitely the best US season, one of the greatest Love Island seasons of like the whole franchise. But it ends this week. But thankfully, I'll have some more reality TV because last week, my absolute favorite reality TV show, Claim to Fame, came back on. So that's the show where it's celebrity relatives. Like you try to guess who's related to who.
A bonus
it's the
show
dumbest show ever.
No, but it is the most Emily Brown show. I need you to know that.
It is the most lowest stakes. Who cares? Reality competition show that's ever existed.
Sign me up. If there's ever a live finale, I'm going to finagle my way into it because I need to be there. This is the most perfect show. So like television wise, I'm having a great summer because every single night except for Wednesdays, I've been watching Love Island, and now on Wednesdays, Claim to Fame's on. So
there you go.
Doing great.
You are literally the other night. I'm on deadline. I'm working till like midnight. And she's like, hey, I'm really sorry about that for you. I'm going to have a great night. There's a new episode of Love Island and there's a new blah, blah. And I'm like, thanks. I'll be thinking of you while I'm editing. Anyway. All right. Real quick. What's the best summer vacation you've ever had? I'm just curious. Co and I go to the mountains every summer. I love it. I look forward to it all year long. We go to Montana every year. I look forward to that all year long. What's the best summer vacation memory you have?
For the first one that comes to mind is the first time I went to France when I was 17. I went with my high school. My people from my high school. And it was just, I was 17, which you can drink when you're 16 there. So, I had a good old time without my parents.
All right. Understood.
And I'll leave it at that.
Do you remember your trip to Paris is what I'm trying to say.
I will say I have a really, I really only drink wine like when I drink, but I'm really bougie about it because the first time I ever had alcohol was on a French vineyard, like in the south of France. So I was born to be bougie and I love it. I love it about myself.
Yeah. For me, I'll never forget this as long as I live, and it's going to be super duper basic, but I just have great memories. I went to Cedar Point with a lot of my cousins and when I was like 14, 15 years old. And I still have pictures from that. And every time I see us hanging out, it was just super dope. I had some cousins from Chicago come down and we just had a great time. And it's not even about Cedar Point. It just was that moment, that 15, 14-year-old Derek was super happy during that time.
I used to, when I was a teenager, we're not far from Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. And we used to go as a group of teenagers and absolutely wreak havoc in that park a couple times a summer. And it was, just the best memories ever, you are
the reason Busch Gardens and Six Flags have bad reputations because there's mobs of teenagers getting into fights and just wreaking havoc all the time.
Have you ever been banned from a national park or just at a park?
National park is different than theme park.
Yeah, I realized as soon as I said it.
three fun spots, 2 in Orlando. Real talk. I mean, I'm sure I could go back now, but I'm not welcome at one in Tulsa either. Yeah.
My favorite vacation is any of the cruises I've done. I get to be lazy. They take me to places. You eat a lot. It's fantastic. Anyway. All right. Last question. Here we go. We only got a couple minutes. I'm a future person. We all know there's a lot at stake right now in the country, the economy or inflation, the political unrest, like the wars happening around the world, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of heavy things in the news. I want to know, what are you looking forward to next? I'm not talking about just globally. In your life, maybe you're pursuing something new. Maybe you have a trip planned this fall. You have the big anniversary coming up. What are you looking forward to next?
I'm looking forward to finding out the winner of Claim to Fame.
Oh my gosh. Dream bigger dreams, Emily.
For me, I'm actually working on doing some remodels to the house. And it's cool. I think I just got to the point where I'm like, man, I could fantasize about trying to get an even bigger house. We always are like bigger car, bigger house, bigger everything. And one day God was like, well, why don't you just work on what you got? And I never thought like that could be that much fun. So I've been gardening, like I'm pulling up bushes and about to start planting new stuff, and I got a new excitement about just really remodeling the crib and giving it a new, fresh look. Like, that's what I'm excited about over the next couple of years.
That's great.
I think this is probably going to age me, but I started coaching Little League Baseball a couple of years ago, and this is my son's last year in like 12U. He'll be 12. And so that's kind of like the last year of like Little League before you got to go play middle school or whatever. So it's the last year I can like coach, and it's the same kids, a bunch of them every year. Mm-hmm. I've become really, really fond of these kids, and I've got to see them kind of grow up. So I'm like disproportionately looking forward to one more baseball season because they're at like the Sandlot age now. You know what I mean? They're all on this, like this next season will be the last season before they're all off to like, you know, deep middle school and they're going to still care about the same stuff. And so I'm looking forward for that last like Sandlot season of being around all these dudes that I've kind of gotten to know over the course of the last couple of years as they've kind of grown up a little, you know. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
That's beautiful.
That's sweet.
All right. Well, that'll do it for 5 burning questions. We didn't have Relevant Buzz this week because the news cycle focused on other things, but I think that was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. Up next, No Big Deal joins us. You're listening to Kali. The song is I Just Wanna.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, no big deal, but our guest today is no big deal. Sorry. He's one of our favorite Christian hip hop artists, and just released his brand new album, The People We Become. We talked to him about why he needed a little extra time creating this project and how it's his most autobiographical album yet. Here's our conversation with No Big Deal.
Got this little flame like a candelabra, not a trending topic, but I'm finna top it. Hip hop looking for a renaissance. Only problem is the Christians got it.
Well, it's been 5 years since your last album. I'm curious, how do you feel like The People We Became compares to 2019's Lowercase Tape?
Yeah, I haven't even really thought about them in comparison to each other. They're just so different. This one is very intensely personal, and in some ways autobiographical, but it also brings in stories of relationships and friendships and different perspectives of how people see the world. And it's much more kind of like bringing people into those stories to see where they connect and where they can experience healing and understanding and God's love from. So it's, the last project, Lowercase Tape, was it was actually kind of like introducing my audience to who I am as an artist and how I grew up, and how a lot of people like me grew up in what I think is an underrepresented subculture of people minorities, and specifically Black people raised in the rural South, especially in Christian culture. So that was a whole different thing than The People We Became, So I think each album has a very specific purpose and launching point, and that's one of the reasons that we were talking about. I think it's a disservice to your fans and to the artists themselves if you just take a bunch of songs that you've put out and call it an album, because that's a chance to really go deeper and really explore concepts and themes.
What are some of those themes that you explore on this album?
There's kind of a lot of themes that go on it, but the overarching thing is people are dynamic. We're not one way, and a lot of times the person that you are in 2020 is not the person that you are in 2024. And then in another way, you are the same person throughout those whole times. So, in the intro, it talks about there being an idea, a philosophical idea that we become many different people throughout our lifetime. And that's just kind of how time goes. And sometimes, and we're just along for the ride, essentially. Sometimes we like the person we see in the mirror, and sometimes we're not. And then it says there's a better idea that we become what we contemplate or what we constantly gaze at. We fall in love with what we constantly gaze at. So it's kind of a survey of going through that period of, man, I love who I am in the mirror today. I hate who I am in the mirror today, and kind of giving examples of how that plays out in life. And then the realization that the more that we gaze at God, we spend time with him and his beauty, the more that we're conformed to his beauty, we become people of love, as he is love himself. And that's the consistent thread throughout our lives if we lean into that and if we enter into that.
The church, God on my heart, pain on my mind, sanctification is taking its time. Faith feeling weak when temptations arise. I've been in sin since the day I arrived. Spirit is willing, but flesh is so weak. Life is a vapor, the air is divine. Wonder why Adam took apple from Eve.
Yeah, you get very real and honest on a lot of these songs. Truthfully, I can't recall many albums that go from talking about faith to addiction to global wars to panic attacks. Why did you want to write music about all of those different topics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's I think that's the autobiographical part. Is the album is what it would sound like to be in these private conversations, and even these conversations had with God in solitude for 5 years. So I think part of the breadth of the album is just because of how many situations and emotions and prayers and conversations with people a person will have over 5 years. It should be like a lot of different entry points, you know, into the conversation, if you're trying to bring people into that world. So I think, yeah, you hear like about my first panic attack and, like you said, like just the, like, yeah, wars and poverty and the fight to see the image of God in people who we consider enemies, you know, all different types of things that I've experienced over the last 5 years. And it's not really just about, I say autobiographical because that's kind of the lens that the art came through, but it's really about how we are all like, we all have those stories. And when we kind of show our hand and communicate our story, then we find a lot of different connection points with people in whether it's a conversation or it's an album.
My cash app, no more lies. I won't hide my attachments. Now I confide in the light everlasting. God woke me up. Come to the one when you need love. More than a shoulder to lean on. Gave him my heart for the freedom. Everything feel empty without you.
I really like the idea that these are private conversations. Do you ever get nervous about the potential backlash from fans when you wade into a difficult or maybe a taboo topic?
I don't really get nervous about it. No, I might. Yeah, a lot of times I'll show it to my close friends or my community and see if there's something that I could say in a different way or a way that's more helpful. But I actually think I feel really comfortable in that vulnerability because, especially now, like the more you do that as an artist, you'll build a fan base of people who are looking for that and who need that vulnerability, and that helps them heal and it helps them in their real life. And so I think at this point, since that's been a consistent theme, my fans are very supportive and vocal about how like the songs are helpful to them, and that's what like inspires me. So people are saying things like, I really didn't know how to express or process my grief until I heard Didn't Cry, you know, or I didn't know how to feel about being a Christian and having a panic attack until, you know, Baggage Claim helped give me language for that. So I think at this point, I'm inspired to keep finding those connection points with my fan base and helping them see God in all of those moments.
Laura mentioned that your fans were able to connect to a lot of these songs. What were you hoping people took away from this project when you released it?
Yes, I wanted people to see how close and near and loving God is, regardless of the situations that we're going through. And that because we're experiencing deep pain, either internally or externally, or we're experiencing great joy and gratitude, and euphoria, like God is near us and is with us. Emmanuel, he's God with us in all of that. And the only thing that keeps us from seeing him or experiencing those things with him is ourselves, is like getting in the way, is not believing that, you know, and not including him in those moments. And then another thing is that I put Loved at the end of the project after Odin kind of opens up that question of we just want something other than fear and monotony. We just want to be loved. That God does love us, and the love is not earned, and it's not based on our performance. It's not based on like self-improvement or us being worthy or us figuring out how to navigate our emotions or situations perfectly. In Loved, I say the lyric is, you love me because you're lovely and I look like you. So he loves us because he is love himself and he created us in his image, and that's it. Like, that's it. So when I'm having a panic attack in the middle of, being in the middle of the airport, or I'm doubting and denying him like Peter, or I'm struggling against unhealthy coping mechanisms and all of that, God is with me and God loves me. And if I can focus on that and gaze at that, then I will become more like him, and I will leave those things that are harming me and hindering me.
Love me when I'm winning and I'm losing too. Love me 'cause you love me and I look like you.
That was No Big Deal. Make sure to check out his brand new album, The People We Become. It's out now. All right, stay tuned. Up next is your feedback. You're listening to Claro. The song is Add Up My Love. You'll still get 0.
Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's Soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, Jesse was talking about, it was July 4th episode. He was talking about the most American things ever. If there was a Mount Rushmore of American things, Mount Rushmore would be on it, but so would hot dogs, jet skis. So we asked you to round out the top 10 list that Jesse started of the most American things ever. You hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast. Here's a few of our favorite replies.
I want to read 2 and then I'll pass it along. One is making a list about America. That is a very American thing. I agree.
Epic Chris 3 said that. That's great.
That's great. And then
that's great.
And then Kendall said, how has no one said bald eagle? Very true. And I know, Cameron, your father in particular, having spent some time with him, it's a bald eagle to him is not just a symbol. It's a fashion statement, and it's a piece of home decor.
Dude, they have those like big wood blocks that people like carve with like chainsaws or logs or whatever. My parents, they had a river house, like a country house years ago. And in the foyer of it, you walked in and there was this huge carving out of one of those things, like a chainsaw carving of a big bald eagle. I mean, this thing was like 6 or 7 feet tall. And I was asking him the other day, whatever happened to that? Like when you sold the house, what did you do with that massive bald eagle? And he goes, it's in my home office. He took it home. He loves this thing. And I'm like, I was making fun of him. I don't know why they love eagles so much. Anyway.
Hey, I mean, I didn't know that they're apex predators, man. So I'm not mad at it. They're apex predators for sure. Yeah. I see Sir Lemming has one of my least favorite things in America, which is casseroles.
Yeah.
Casserole seems is the most American thing.
It is a very American thing, though. It has to be.
It's a very American thing, and it's one of my least favorite things in America.
But what about there's so many casseroles that aren't too soupy, Jesse.
Bro, literally from the Caucasian variety. I'm like, listen, white folks, y'all have come up with some excellent inventions, but casseroles is not one of them.
Jesse's thinking of green bean casserole in particular. It's just soggy, wet green beans.
They all get like that. They sit out long enough. Trust me.
Anna Kipps said the mullet haircut. And there's everyone in Nashville has it, and it never looks good, man. I'm telling you right now, it's not good look.
What part of Nashville are you in?
Are you kidding me? I see it everywhere, Derek.
Do you?
Yes.
It's in the hipster East Nashville, and it's also in the honky tonk downtown Nashville. It's gone hipster to country.
I don't go to either side.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, I end up there, and I am disgusted every time.
Yeah.
Antioch, we don't have mullets in Antioch.
Okay, I'll come to Antioch then.
Justin said beer bellies. Beer bellies. That should be on the American
does
top
feel
10.
American, yeah.
NASCAR for sure.
Yeah.
Dana
NASCAR.
Clardy said Top Gun Maverick, and I want to know, is the original Top Gun included or just Top Gun Maverick? Because
They put specifically Maverick. I mean,
I think the original had volleyball, which is kind of an international sport. This one,
it's football.
Yeah, beach
You're
football.
so right.
Yeah, beach football. That's more
Pure
American.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's more where that came from. If you want to check out our replies, it's time for this week's
Editorial question of the week.
So normally we ask you for your feedback, but we're going to continue something that we did on this episode. We did 5 burning questions. We want to know your burning questions. Why don't you send in some burning questions that you want the staff to answer on a future episode, and we will do that either next week or the week after. So hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast and send in your 5 burning questions, and we will read our favorites on the show. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank No Big Deal for joining us today. Make sure to check out his brand new album, The People We Become. It is available wherever you get your music. Also, make sure to check out the new issue of Relevant, issue 115. Letitia Wright is on the cover. We got a crazy conversation with Carl Lentz. We have local natives, Colony House, Judah and the Lion, a bunch of great artists, a bunch of great interviews. It is available for free. You can just click the magazine tab right there at relevantmagazine.com and read it. And if you want the digital magazine experience, though, you can sign up for Relevant Plus. We have a beautiful digital interactive edition that is part of Relevant Plus, as well as ad-free unlimited reading at relevantmagazine.com, an ad-free version of this podcast and more. Plans start as low as $250 a month, and it is the best way to experience our content. Check it out. You can just find all the info right there at the website. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I'm staying out of this one.
Relevant Podcast Network.